Hello everyone and welcome to the mass exodus of raiders. Yes, it has begun. The mass exodus of raiders from SWTOR, and it's easy to see why. It's easy to see why because the current raid tier is shit. Really, TOS, Ravagers, people are getting sick of it. And the fact that this raid tier is not going to be updated, there's going to be no new raids, potentially till 2016. We do have a new expansion, of course. Knights of the Fallen Empire is coming, but no new end content for that. So a lot of people who have done, people who played the game since launch. I played near launch. I was there 2012, and we're having a rerun of 2012. It feels like, personally. I was there in the dark days when we struggled to get raid groups, we struggled to get people left, and we know what happened. Because again, when the game launched, there was the focus on story content with very little end content, and you know what happened? Within a year, it went free to play because it could not retain subscribers. That's what makes us a bit suspicious of this. And there's no backup plan. Is there any real backup plan if Knights of the Fallen Empire goes tits up? Which, to be honest, and given, I've spoken to a few people who raid mostly, just quitting until it comes out. Because the rewards are a joke. They're just a desperate grab. Please stay subscribed. They're just begging. That's what they're doing. They're begging us to subscribe to them. But yeah, those dark days, 2012, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like we're in. And we don't have that out of free-to-play. Free-to-play, to be fair, did revitalize the game. I mean, anyone who says anything different, I would say, go check your figures. Because this game is a lot more profitable as a free-to-play game than it ever was subscription only. But again, initially, at launch, this game sold well. SWTOR was one of the best selling MMO launches ever. It had one of the most successful, and those players dropped. I think they sold I think it was about 2.5 million copies they sold within the first 3 months of the game's existence. And within the first 6 months, they had, I think, way less than, I think it was under 500,000 subscribers. I don't know the exact figure. But that was the rumored figure, I guess. It had less than that. So it lost a massive chunk of players. It would have lost a lot of them anyway. You probably would have lost most of them over a period. But the fact is, we had this emphasis on story. They initially, at launch, thought it would take you months to reach endgame. People were endgame within a few weeks. I played, I think it was 2 months after launch, I think, because I was still playing Skyrim and Dark Souls. That had my attention then. But I did pre-order it. Didn't get a Founder's title because obviously I didn't play the game. Played in beta as well, and never really got very far in beta because you never pay attention to the storylines in beta, to be honest with you. You're more interested in how the game works, to be honest. But yeah, there was a hell of a lot more story content. You had 8 individual class stories, which a lot of people just blasted through them, got to end content, realized that the end game was lacking, and then left. So what's to stop people doing that again? The difference is that there's going to be less content. There's one story. There's not 8 individual class stories. So the replayability of the story content is hit quite heavily, because yeah, there's going to be different outcomes, there's going to be different companions to recruit, but here's the issue. You're going to be doing the same broad story as each class, and I'm not going to do it 16 times. I'm not going to do it on all 16 characters. I'm not even going to do it 8 times. You're probably just going to play through it once, maybe play through it twice, maybe you'll do it once Empire, once Republic, like I did with Macab, really. I only did Macab twice when it came out. Once Empire, once Republic. And, Macab was okay, but I didn't want to do it again with ults. I tend to level through dailies and flashpoints with my ults because you don't want to do the story content. Shadow of Revan was annoying to level in because we had to do flashpoints to unlock dailies. We had to do the solo mode flashpoints to unlock the daily quests. So annoying, those Blood Hunt and Battle of Rishi flashpoints. What a pain in the arse they were to do on every single ult with that fucking GSI droid. That I swear to God killed the fun for me. It killed those flashpoints dead for me. I did not want to set foot in them again. Tactical or hard mode. I just didn't care. I was like, I don't care. No, I have done them both in hard mode. Did them both pre-nerf. I'd never done the bonus boss because apparently that's really difficult in Battle of Rishi, so I never had a go at that, to be honest. I'm never likely to do it, to be honest. And you never can do Blood Hunt as a pug because every time it pops, someone leaves. Nobody wants to do it, and very rare we actually play SWTOR these days. Now, I say this because I've been speaking to a lot of people from a lot of different guilds, and a lot of guilds are in the same boat. Guilds are just breaking up because people just like saying, I can't be bothered with this anymore. Can't be bothered with Shadow of Revan content, can't be bothered with TOS, Ravagers. They're terrible ops, and you know, they're going to be here a while. At least we had that flicker of hope before E3, and E3 should have been the relaunch of this game. It should have been the platform to relaunch the game, not to just make the mistakes that were made back in when this game was in development. The game has been in development for, 9 years in total, they've said. It's been live for 3 years, but it's been in development 9 years. It's a long time for this game to be in development for. I mean, MMOs never leave development. You know, they never ever leave. Even when they go live, they're constantly developed. So, you know, 9 years this game has been in development total. Seven years, I guess, of pre-launch work and 3 years of it being live. We've had 2 expansions in the meantime. We're getting our 3rd one right now. But this seems like, it just seems like history is repeating itself. And I agree with people who say that. You know, it's if you were there in 2012, you would realize how bad it was. It was really bad. And we had good raids in 2012. We had good content eventually, but you know, people just didn't want to stick around. Eventually they kind of turned it around a little bit. They did manage to get it. 1.8 launched, which was the free-to-play update. You had the HK51 quest, you had Terror from Beyond, and they kind of managed to pull it around a little bit. And then Rise of the Hutt Cartel came out and the game grew from there. But Shadow of Revan has been a massive failure and a massive step backwards for the game, really. This regression back into story content, I really don't understand why you'd want to play an MMO solely for story content. Why you'd want to play an MMO and you don't want to do things with other people, you don't want to do quests, you don't want to do missions with other people. Back in vanilla, we had, you know, dailies. To do the weekly quest, you had to group for the final quest. I always had a heroic 4, Section X, and what was it called again? Black Hole. What was it called? Black Hole. If you wanted your weekly done, you had to do the heroic 4, which, you know, and again, it got you interacting with people. It got you to experience group play. It encouraged you to experience group play. Section X is, of course, still required to have 4 people because you need it for the puzzle at the end to do that heroic 4. So very few people do Section X as a result. They did find that heroic 4s weren't popular, and there's several reasons for that. Again, tanks and healers were always difficult to find because tanks and healers rarely stayed and did a lot of world content. I think that was due to the quest design was very kill a lot of mobs was the thing. They put a lot of trash in an area, and of course to kill them efficiently, or the most efficient way of killing this trash was be a DPS. Of course, tanks and healers mostly spent their time, at least I did, either in the flashpoint queue, or playing with friends, or doing PvP, because, you know, the queue times were quick for PvP back then. And again, of course, the flashpoint queues would pop right away if you were a tank, so you spent most of your time, very little time out in the world questing. You maybe got a few levels above your story quest as a tank and then went and did it. So the quest content really wasn't really that relevant because you wanted to always be above, because obviously you wouldn't die as a tank, but it would take longer to kill things. That was the big thing as a tank, is that it just took too long to kill mobs. It was really annoying as a tank. So that's why I think nobody really bothered with heroics. If they did put them in Group Finder, or had the Group Finder been better, would have been, I think, a good idea. It would be nice if they copy Secret Worlds or World of Warcraft's Group Finder, where you can make a pre-made group and just advertise it. Have something like a bounty board, I think would be quite nice, where you've got a group of, say, 3 or 4 people. What you say what you're looking for, you set your requirements, and you post it to the bounty board, and you just go click the bounty board. It's similar to the way Secret Worlds Group Finder works, and World of Warcraft has a similar system that they adopted. But it would be nice to see that, because Secret World, you just post what you're looking for, post the run that you're doing, post what you're looking for, post what you have. You could set your requirements, etc. Maybe not let the players set the requirements like World of Warcraft, because letting the players set the requirements is just ridiculous. They always ask for way over geared, and you have to have achievements like the arse. Although it's, I think, a better solution than just spamming chat to find people, because it is quite annoying in SWTOR to just spam chat all the time. But anyway, I think it's kind of pointless actually to add that, you could argue, because there's going to be no group content. Yeah, we're just going to be, stuck there soloing Frozen in Carbonite. That's going to be, we're going to do a guide on how to prepare for 4.0, and it's not going to be flattering, to be honest with you. It's going to be a bit of a troll video, just warning you ahead of time. About how to prepare for patch 4.0. We're not going to talk about other things that we would normally talk about in a preparation video. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't get people who don't want a group. I just don't get it. I don't get why you'd play an MMO. Why are you paying a subscription to an MMO to do solo content when there's so many good solo games out there? You've got, even if you're a fan of BioWare games, you've got Dragon Age Inquisition, you've got Mass Effect, you've got The Witcher 3, Fallout 4's coming out within a few weeks of Knights of the Fallen Empire. I think it's 3 weeks after Knights of the Fallen Empire. Fallout 4's coming out. It's going to be way better, because it's a single player game that's not charging you a fucking subscription. Come on. I mean, it's really annoying that they're charging you a subscription. Now, I don't think the game justifies its subscription, and that's why we're seeing raiders leave, because they're saying, I'm not subscribing to play this. Spoke to a few people from other guilds. I've had the Empire guild that I'm in. GM is leaving, contacted me on one of those videos. That's what prompted this video. Yeah, he's leaving the game. I mean, guilds are just breaking up, and finding good raiders is difficult. I mean, we couldn't get a run tonight at TOS, or Ravage couldn't get a hard mode run tonight because, 3 people out of 7, we only got 7 people in our raid team. 3 people signed up, and that was it. 3 people decided to show up to the run because the raid content is just severely lacking, and people are lacking the motivation to log in and play. I mean, the other team did manage to get the walkers down. We're now guilds now 4 out of 10 despite all these resets. We're heading towards another progression reset, because I guess we'll just be merging the teams again. And what we'll be doing, I guess, is going on kind of main runs and alt runs, because we're going to have to divide it. Obviously, we've got more than 8 people, and we have less than 16. We're not doing 16, man. That would be a disaster. So we're having to just alternate days and just slot different people into different roles. So now you're having to have an alt in a different role. So I'm gearing up a gunslinger for DPS. I've got 2 healers, and I've got my gunslinger for DPS now that are getting geared. So, it's like we're just kind of doing 1 run with mains, 1 run with alts, 1 run with mains, and we're just kind of slotting people in and out. So 1 week you'll be asked to sit out just because to give someone else a chance. It's not really a fair system, but it's the system, it's the situation that we're in. And, some people are saying that it could be other games that's causing this. Final Fantasy XIV just this week launched Heavensward, which, Final Fantasy XIV, they seem to be getting it right. And of course, World of Warcraft patch 6.2 just launched as well this week. So, maybe people are leaving, but I would argue that and say this has been going on for quite a while before either of those 2 games launched, or patches or expansions, whatever. you want to say. WildStar is also going free to play soon, so you can expect that to take more players away from the current SWTOR player base that's just dwindling. I mean, it's kind of sad, really, that Square Enix are doing an MMO better than you, BioWare. Square Enix? Come on. This is the company, Square Enix, that made not Bioshock, I was going to say Bioshock. They made Just Cause look boring. I mean, how do you do that? How do you make Just Cause 3 look boring in a trailer? Is that even possible? At least they showed gameplay footage at least, but you know, Square Enix are schooling you in how to do a story-driven, yet still group-oriented MMO. I like the Final Fantasy XIV approach, or where you get to a point in the story and it says the next story quest is a dungeon. You got to queue for it with the Duty Finder. And by the way, I queue for a dungeon's Duty Finder as a DPS 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Not even at peak time. 4-minute wait time. In SWTOR, never gonna get that. You're just being schooled in how to make an MMO by Square Enix of all companies. And yeah, Final Fantasy XIV was a disaster at launch, and yeah, it did have a few years out, but it's come back a better game. Some people say, should SWTOR change its game engine and so forth? We'll do a video on that. Why it's never really gonna work because of who we are published by, namely EA. And again, it's about differences of culture, basically. Japanese versus American culture. Certainly is an interesting clash of cultures there, but we will discuss that in a later video at some point. I do have a few other SWTOR videos coming out. I think I'm going to be checking out Final Fantasy XIV for a bit. I did resubscribe to that recently. I had a go at WildStar for a bit because I bought the Humble E3 digital ticket, so I had a go at Wild. Started a new account in WildStar and had a bit of a go at that. I'm still unconvinced by it, to be honest. But I mean, Final Fantasy XIV seems to be where it's at right now for MMOs. They seem to have just got it right at the moment. I think they're doing a good job. So we'll do some more Final Fantasy XIV stuff. I've still got a Scoundrel video, which I'm gonna have to do other video for because it was the first part of the video. Well, the video part of it. The audio's recorded. The video is Sparky HM. I was gonna do Bulo HM, but we had problems getting a group together tonight, so I'm just gonna have to jump into a Flashpoint over the weekend and get that out, bash that out for you. I also got a Gunslinger video coming up. We're gonna do that. 4.0 preparation videos, yeah, we're not really gonna do them, to be honest, because what's the point? How do we, what do we want from classes in 4.0? Does it matter? Does it really matter? Does class balance matter anymore? The other question I'm going to ask people is, how the fuck am I meant to do story content as a Sawbones Scoundrel? Just bear that in mind. So that's why I'm so mad at it just being story content. As someone who mains a Sawbones Scoundrel, what am I supposed to do? Story content is out of the question. Respect to Scrapper? I'm going to have to gear for Scrapper now. Thank you very much, BioWare. Learn Ruffian, because I've never played Ruffian, maybe. That's going to be the things. But yeah, my main's a healer. What are we going to do? Because we rely on group content, don't we, as healers? What's the point? You're just going to have less tanks, less healers. 4.0, disaster waiting to happen, because we've seen it before. We've seen it before. Probably this video will get a bunch of dislikes, and a bunch of BioWare Defense Brigade will come out and leave comments on it. So, feel free to leave comments if you're a member of the BioWare Defense Brigade. Are they paying you is the question, because if they're not, I'd consider that, because of course, maybe consider not joining the BioWare Defense Brigade if they're not paying you enough, really, We will do another giveaway as well, because we got a bunch of cartel coins to give away. So we will do that in July. We'll do one. We'll have something lined up for July, SWTOR related. So we're not quitting SWTOR totally. It's just less of a focus, shall we say. It's just not our main focus at the moment. Still log into Raid. Two things I do log in for. Pick up credits from GTN sales and Raid. And that's it, really. Because there's nothing to do right now in the game. There's nothing really exciting. But we do have a few videos in the pipeline for the future. And we have another giveaway contest that we're going to do. Because we've got a shit ton of cartel coins that I just want to dump, basically. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.